to the forefront of innovation.
Good morning, and welcome to An Eye for AI. Today, we're going to talk about how small and medium-sized businesses can now just stop talking about AI just like a buzzword, and how they can really implement AI to help their businesses grow, to help their businesses operate more smoothly, to really produce measurable results. And to that end, today we have Mr. Jaime Paredes from SPEED2LEAD.ai.com. Jaime, how are you today?
Great, Carlos. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. It's I met Jaime at a recent conference that Summit, Small Business Summit from the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce, and he was one of the presenters. And what he had to say was, in my book, truly impressive, because there are a lot of people out there talking about AI, and not everybody is doing the deal, as I like to say. But Jaime is one of those guys that is doing the deal. So one of the things, Jaime, that really caught my attention was just the name of your company. It's very near and dear to my heart because this is something I speak with clients about ad nauseum, which is speed to lead. So tell me in your words, what is Speed to Lead all about as a company, and what do you do as a company?
So just a little context. My background's kind of similar to yours, marketing, digital marketing. I've had an agency for many, many years, mainly video production. And when I started this journey down the AI rabbit hole, I realized too that, speed is everything. When a lead comes in, phone call, form submission, what doesn't matter, the faster you get to that person, the sooner or the better chance of having that person become a prospect/client. It is. So that's in a nutshell. Just speed is everything when it comes to marketing and sales.
Okay. So it's interesting that you say that, because I like to say that some companies don't really have a lead problem. They have a speed to lead and a lead nurturing problem, because especially when products are of high value, they're not going to make a decision that very moment. So lead nurturing to me is just as important as speed to lead. And there's actually data out there, Jaime, that says that if you don't get back to a lead within 5 minutes, that your chances of even speaking with that person diminish 6 times. So speed to lead is so critical. And I think a lot of companies don't realize that. But your company goes a lot further than that. I was on your website. You've got a lot of neat features on that website. What else do you do besides getting people prospects answers right away?
So because of my background, we have a heavy emphasis on video. So I believe video is a huge part of getting attention. Really, there's nothing better than video. And the challenge with video is that I've seen in the past, most people don't want to be on video. They don't like video. They don't like talking. Unlike yourself, which is obviously very charismatic and you have a lot of personality. Most people don't, unfortunately. So AI has played a huge role now in getting people or their avatars to be on video. So that's one. The other aspect is training. So I'm a big believer in, obviously I'm a Gen Xer. I'm not sure if you are too. You look like a Gen Xer or a Boomer, one of the two. I work with both of those categories to help train business owners in the area of AI. Both individually or a team setting, to basically just bring them up to speed with everything AI.
Okay. One of the things, and we're going to talk about that, one of the things that you mention is on your website is that you can turn teams into ninjas, into AI ninjas. What does that mean exactly?
So some little context as well. So I grew up in the age of Bruce Lee. I'm a huge karate, that his fan. And part of that was ninjas. And I've always been fascinated with ninjas as well. So that's my mascot, really. And they're little ninjas, they're big ninjas. And a ninja's stealth, precision, determination. And, those are just buzzwords. But basically, when somebody understands how to use AI, leverage AI, they can become a ninja for their business or for their employer. So that's kind of the gist of what it means to become an AI ninja.
Okay. And on your website, you have something that I felt was was really interesting is that you're, as we call it in the business, a lead magnet, but it's really a benefit for anybody who goes to your website is that you have a webinar every, is it Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern?
Correct. That's 100%. Yes.
And on that, you show people how to build 3 AI employees. Is that correct?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. You did your homework. Yes. You know.
And how does that work?
So it's a 90-minute webinar. I go in and I'm trying to remember exactly. One is an AI writer, one is an AI researcher, and one is an AI inbox triage. So basically, all 3 employees, they do different tasks for business owners. I show them how to do it. I usually Claude co-work, and I also give them the actual skill. They're not really employees, a skill that if you're on the webinar, you would get the skill and do the exact same thing you're doing for you, and you would apply it to your business.
Yeah. It seems like Claude, I use it a lot too. Claude seems like it's the LLM, large language model of the moment. And what do you think about that? It seems like a lot of people are transitioning. ChatGPT was really first to move, first to scale, but Claude seems to have all the momentum right now.
Yeah. In the last, I want to say 3 months, it's almost been, I can't say every day, but once a week to over every other day, Claude has actually introduced something new to their clientele. OpenAI has been ChatGPT has been hasn't been as quick. And for that reason, I think they lost a lot of momentum. Now, Google's going to play a huge role. I think, if you ask me and a lot of my mentors, they actually think Google's going to be the 10,000-pound gorilla down the road. But right now, if you speak to a lot of people, Anthropic, which is Claude, is the number 1 LLM of choice for business owners.
Yeah. And it is incredible. They are introducing things at breakneck speed. They have, Claude Co-work, Claude Code, Claude Design now, which was released very recently. I haven't used Claude Design yet, but I'm curious to see what it can do. Have you used it yet?
I have played with it. I've done carousels, so obviously for social media and carousels. I'm funny. I'm not funny, but I have my LLMs of choice. I use Lovable for creative websites. I use Perplexity for research. Most everything else is Claude, but I do dabble in a few other ones. And I have ChatGPT on my phone, so I'm actually a multi-user, I would say.
Yeah. Going back to small and medium-sized businesses, where do you think, let's say somebody has, and I call this AI anxiety, where I like to say I coined that phrase. I don't know if I did, but I see so many people for different reasons suffer from it. I suffer from it because things are coming out so quickly. I think every hour I'm thinking I missed something, FOMO, so to speak. But if somebody has a small business, they're, I'll say, curious about AI. Maybe they're using AI as a search engine. They don't know how to use it any other way. What is a good first step for a business like that?
That's a great question. I like to start with what they call a knowledge base. So basically, it's taking everything you've ever done, and that's pretty broad statement. Things that you're doing in your business to give Claude, in this case, your voice, your understanding of business, because everybody has their nuances, right? So if you can people use Workspace or Google or something, they can have 5, 10, 15 documents, and it could be audio, it could be written. Put them into Claude in the project, and that's your brain. That would be your first step, is making sure that Claude understands who you are, how you speak, and what your business is about. That's step 1.
Okay. And then what? So they've built their knowledge base now. What coming out of the box is, should they look at sales and marketing? Should they look at, and I know it's dependent on the business, but from your experience, what is kind of like the typical first step for a business to introduce an AI agent, we'll say?
Yeah, it's a great question. You and I both would probably agree that sales and marketing are the lowest hanging fruit. They're the ones that can produce the most amount of biggest bang for your buck, so to speak. I'm a marketer, so I tend to go with marketing first. I'm a big believer in researching. So I think for me, this is just I'm speaking from a personal perspective. I want to get a really good understanding of myself or my competitors or my clients' competitors, and that's a researching function. So going out, doing a tremendous amount of research, unbelievably fast, unbelievably thorough, and you can create these documentations that are just you would take days and weeks in the past, and you can do it in 20, 30 minutes now. So that's my first step.
Yeah, it's incredible how, especially in our business, how AI has helped, creating content, but things like I use a tool called Base 44. And, from there, I've created, for example, when I used to check SEO on websites, I used to go into the source code and now, I've built something in Base 44 that does it in 2 seconds and a lot better than I did it.
Yeah.
And the same with the proposals. Proposals, I can literally spit out a proposal in seconds. So, and it has to do with what you said. You always have to feed whatever you're using your knowledge base, which is whatever you have: documents, videos, presentations, etc.
100%. Yeah, there's not one thing I would change in what you said there. 100% agree. Yeah.
Where are people not getting it? When I say people, I mean businesses. Where are small businesses kind of just missing the boat on AI, according to your experience in working with some of these businesses?
So I have two answers for that. One is I'm like you, I'm a member of the chamber, a member of BNI. I do quite a bit of networking. I would say 90, and I'm making this up, 95% of people are using AI like chat, like they would with Google. So let's say there's, depending on who you speak to, there's 4 or 5 phases of AI. That's phase one. I would say 90% of business are in phase one, which, it is what it is. So that's the biggest, I see that as a huge challenge because as you and I both know, it's changing so quickly that the businesses that are ahead, that are not even like the stage 5, like stage 2, they potentially leaps and bounds ahead of their competitors. So I would say, yeah, that's the biggest. The roadblock is they don't understand AI, so there's that obviously that inclination of I don't want to, but I don't want to do something I don't understand, and B, they're using it in a level that everybody else is, and they're not leveraging what it really can do for them.
Okay. So their stage 5 is what? Employing agentic AI and
100%.
Okay.
100%. Yeah. So basically scheduling stuff, using co-work or code. But and there's a lot of other websites besides Claude, but that's what you and I think both use. But scheduling stuff so it operates while you're asleep. I mean, that's the kind of like the utopia, right, of AI is, is doing work for you while you're doing other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say, because I have one client who is old school. They've been around since 1949. And by the way, side story here, sidebar, talking about doing video, it took me a year and a half to get him to do video. And now he does video in an Aquaman suit. So it's a water heater company. So
yeah, that's awesome.
You got to like it. Awesome. There's always an evolution there. And, but anyway, going back to what we were talking about, and you do an AI assessment, it says on your website. What's that process like?
So I've actually, that's kind of been a transition to, initially it was questions and answers, like a type form, but now actually we have, I call her Annie, and you can make up whatever name you want.
I saw Annie. Yeah, I saw Annie mentioned there on your website.
Yeah. So basically you call and Annie asks you for about 5-10 minutes questions about your business, and very specific. Like we've trained her to ask very specific questions. That conversation gets transcribed. That transcription turns into a PDF / a document that then you would use as a first step to, okay, where are your problems and pains, and how is that, like, how do we position that in that document, and then what are the first 4 agents that we recommend you should build out based on your challenges, your pains, your bottleneck, etc. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. And being in marketing, both of us, what I hear a lot of, and there's more of it now, because doing Google pay-per-click, for example, used to be a lot easier. running Facebook ads used to be a lot easier. It's getting a lot more difficult because of competition, frankly. And what are you hearing? Because I hear a lot, people want more leads. Do you hear that a lot as well?
Yes and no. I hear more leads and better quality leads.
Correct.
Yeah, and what I don't know if you've seen this, and this is pretty, and I haven't used it, so I'm not speaking from experience. But now you can actually hook up through MCPs or APIs, Google to your Claude, and you can speak to Claude and have Claude manage, scale. Like it's. I personally think that in probably 6 months to a year, media buyers are in trouble. I really think, or if not less.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be easier but to answer, the part of the question was creatives, which is what we do as well. Is having the quantity as well as quality of creatives. That's a huge part of success on Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Facebook, it's when we're talking creative on Facebook, we're talking about the image or video, we're talking the title, and we're talking about the actual text. And those things have to be very dialed in for you to expect any sort of leads to your business. And there's a time to use Facebook, there's a time to use pay-per-click, there's a time to use both. Getting back to your company, Jaime, what are some of the challenges you're having in explaining that AI is the way to go in established businesses?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's basically, I think I'm putting them into two buckets, but there's probably way more. It's people that are early adopters. You and I are probably early adopters, right? And this is what I tell people all the time. We are in the worst stage of AI today, right now. AI is only going to get better tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now. It's up to the owner, business owner, employee to say, hey, I need to learn this stuff now, like ASAP. And that's a struggle because obviously as a business owner, you have your employees, you have sales, you have admin, like you have so many things on your plate. Do you have time to go learn AI? Should you learn AI? But I honestly think if you don't, you're in big trouble. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jaime. AI is not going anywhere. If anything, it's going to get bigger. It's going to be able to do more. And in that same vein, what do you say to people that state, you know what, I'm fearful. AI is coming for my job. What do you say to those people?
So I'm going to paraphrase this or actually swipe it from people.
Okay.
AI is not going to take your job, but somebody knows how to use AI will take your job. That's what I've heard over and over, and I believe it 100%. So it's those people that know how to use AI, how to leverage AI, optimize AI. Those are the ones you have to be fearful of and worry about.
Yeah. You spoke about research and you use, what is it? You use Perplexity for your research?
100%, yep.
What type of research are you doing when a client comes to you? What is it that you're looking for?
So I typically start at a 10,000 foot overview. I go to Perplexity and I usually put the website in, and I'll say, hey, check out this website. Give me an idea of what they're about, and also give me the land of the law of the land, like kind of who are the competitors of, if it's a local business, what do they look like. I also like to compare and contrast. So I'll ask, and this is, brings me to another point. I talk to my AI. I talk to Perplexity. I talk to Claude as if it's an assistant. I'm not putting a Google search in there. I'm having long conversations, and just for your listeners' interest as well, I use a software or something called Whisper, WHSPR. I think it's .com. I'm not sure. So it allows me to speak to my AI, and I can get stuff done so much faster.
Yeah. That's it's incredible, all the developments that come out every single day, and it's kind of just fun discovering it. And the way that you say you speak with AI, I find myself fighting with AI every now and then because and I'll give you a concrete example. I was using Claude Code to code an email. And it would give me some stuff and it would work, and then it wouldn't work, and then I'd say, come on, you gave me the right code before, what's the issue? And it's funny because it says, you know what, you're right, and here's the right code. So I find that very interesting.
Yeah.
So here you are, you're automating systems. Your automation really and AI is two different things, but you're employing AI into a business. Where do you see the cutoff? Because I have some trepidations about this too. The cutoff of, all right, AI can handle all this, but you know what? I need the human touch for that. Where are some scenarios that fit into that maybe, okay, AI is doing this stuff, but at some point I know a human has to interact.
Great question. So it's human in the loop or human touch points. I mean, I think, and this goes without saying, but for example, anything medical or financial, they have different like HIPAA and an SEC. Like you can't have AI send out emails or put information out. You need someone to look at those, and that's pretty obvious, right? For different industries. Another thing too is that, to your point, you just finished saying AI gets stuff wrong all the time.
Yeah.
So if you just assume it's right, you're in trouble. You gotta, and this is, you and I both have heard of or probably seen AI slop, because people don't give, and this is the challenge, they don't give enough context to something they're doing. So AI will make it up. And a lot of times it's wrong. Most of the time it's wrong. Or at least it's not, when I say it's wrong, it might be right, but to your business or to your category, your vertical, it doesn't make sense. So you always have to review, kind of like, it's like, think of it as a junior level employee that is super, super smart, but you still have to supervise that, the junior and make sure that they're doing the job the right way.
Yeah. And here's a pro tip. Whenever I use any AI to help me come up with copy ideas and things like that, and I'll ask for verifiable facts, and I say, list the sources, because I will go to those sources and make sure that data is real, because oftentimes it may not be.
100%. I agree 100% with you. Yep.
So Jaime, where do you see opportunities? Because my way of thinking about AI and whether a business needs it or not is, first of all, you got to look at pain points, and are those pain points solvable by AI? Second, repetitive tasks that you just do over and over and over again. And third, and that's why I asked the question before, is customer service, because if you can't get to a lead or to a client question or to open a ticket, for example, quickly, that is a problem with customer service. Do you see it that way, or how do you see it?
I think you're 100% nailed it. That's exactly how I see it. Like, especially you mentioned repetitive tasks. That's an easy one, right? What is someone in your team or yourself doing over and over again that you could just give it to AI? That's an easy one. Researching is you research, and I kind of put in content writing. Even though you have to be careful, it's got to be in your voice. Those are things that AI can do quite well. And the last one is data, and this is where I think, my opinion, anybody financial and media buying and anything with numbers, AI can handle easier, faster, less expensively, or less cheaper than anybody out there, human wise. So those are the things that I think you should leverage AI for. And once again, other stuff, it should not be leveraged, or you should have human in the loop. But the stuff that AI can do better, leverage it.
Jaime, do you have any concrete examples of businesses you've worked with and kind of give a before and after perspective, be it anything they've done with AI?
So I always use these examples because it's relevant to me and kind of my AI is not my current passion, but my past passion was video, right? So we would do a shoot, and we would go out there. So pre-production, production, and post-production, and anywhere from, depending on the size, it would be roughly about a month and a half.
Yeah.
We can do the exact same shoot and give it, like, let's say maybe it's not exactly the same because the quality is not quite there. We could do it in 2 days. So you can imagine we're saving thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. The speed is faster. There's no approval. The approval process from my perspective, as someone that does video, is way quicker. And everything is just expedited. So that's what we do videos. We do 20 to 30 videos a day for our different clients, social media, ads, VSLs, anything that requires video. And a lot of times, most of our clients don't want to be on video. So we hire quote unquote an avatar.
Yeah.
That's great. So that's for me, that's the most concrete, the easiest one to explain and illustrate in terms of how AI can really move the needle.
Yeah, that's interesting how all these avatars have come about, and some avatars are famous now, and it's just that's just wild to me. But I have used avatars in the past. Some clients like them. Some clients say, I don't know if that avatar really represents our brand well. But it's still, to me, this whole AI realm is the Wild West right now.
100%. Yep, 100% agree. Yeah, you cannot be more accurate than that. Yep.
Where do you see it, to wrap up, Jaime, where do you see it all going? Where do you see AI and the business interaction interface? Where do you see it going?
So I'm optimistic. You know, where you and I are both probably of the age where Terminator and Skylink, I think what's called, where AI takes over the world and humanity is destroyed. I don't think that's going to happen. Cross my fingers. That being said, I think that you have to get your head out of the sand and figure out how you can utilize AI. And I tell people all the time, I think every owner, founder, etc., should learn the basics of AI. It's like everything else. You need to know how to use it, how to leverage it. And then after that, you could hire somebody, either an agency or better yet, hire somebody on your team. And they have different names: AI architect, AI engineer, that could help depending on the size of your business, that could run things for the business when it comes to AI. I have someone on my team I call him AI tech stack developer, and he's helped me tremendously because I'm not technical. I really am not, but I've gotten really good now at vibe coding, doing stuff on my own. But he's been a really big. I've leaned on him a lot to get things done the right way.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because on your website there are several ways to work with SPEED2LEAD AI, and one of them is either kind of do it with you, do it yourself. How is it that somebody can engage you?
My recommendation is just get on the webinar. Right now, the webinar, there is a price to it. It's like an hour and a half, and I give away the kitchen sink. So I think it's a good value. That being said, that's a low ticket I consider to get in and understand. Hey, do you like me? Can you see yourself working with me? Did I give you value in that? And that's an hour and a half of your time. You're going to learn something for sure. Most people, and I really want to cater to boomers and Gen Xers because there's a lot of tech bros out there that they know more than me. They're more technical, but I think I can relate to somebody, men or women, obviously more men, our age, that are struggling. And because I was there. It's not an easy. It's a hard transition, mindset wise. It's like, I'm not a developer. I'm not a programmer. What do I do? And I've done that already. So that's kind of my answer to that question.
Okay. Jaime, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how can they reach you?
Yeah. So you said my website, SPEED2LEADAI.com. There's a phone number you can call. We call her Maria. It's not Annie. We have a couple different people, and you can talk to her to get the initial, and then you can just book a call depending on what you're looking for. If it's train with me, webinar is a great one, or work with me, and we can deploy, install. I can go in, or I can hire someone, or like for yourself. I know you have an agency. I like to partner with agencies. We do a lot white label, or we can group, do things together. So that's kind of how I think is the best way to leverage, my expertise.
Got it. Thanks for being on the show, Jaime. And thank you for joining an Eye for AI. As always, we're very thankful to Miami's Community News for this platform, and we'll see you soon.